Good afternoon. My name's Andrew. I'm one of the members of Team E. Oops, wrong slide. And I'm presenting the first half of our presentation here for our education portal project. My other two teammates are Clayton Azu, don't know how to say his last name. It looks like Azu N, and Samuel Nixon. We had a fourth teammate, but he dropped out for personal reasons about a week ago. Maybe a little less than that. So what we're doing here is making an education portal. I think it's similar to Blackboard or even a site like Coursera or Pluralsight, where you essentially have an instructor creating a course and a bunch of students or just random people who want to view that course and access the content from anywhere. So here are some of our goals for this project. We want students to be able to rapidly access the content. And I don't mean like delivered fast, but easily navigate to the content and know where to find it every time for every course. So it needs a cohesive interface. It needs to be responsive, which is to say that it works on your phone. You can still use maybe a subset of features that you would see on a desktop, and it also works on desktops without confusing interface switch-ups. Whoops, sorry about that. So reliably organized across multiple classes, that second bullet point there, that's not a programming class, that's the actual course, and the content should be formatted the same way no matter who's uploading a course or what the course is, and that'll make it easy for someone to switch between courses and still know how to navigate the content. And lastly, you should be able to resume content. So if I'm on a train or something, or I don't know, I'm carpooling to work, and I start listening to content on my phone, I should be able to hop on my desktop whenever I arrive and resume that content without having to do anything but be logged into my account. So the progress we've made on this so far is we've gotten iteration 1 views mocked up, we defined our user and business requirements, and we created 2 personas, which are an instructor and a student to be using the site. So the personas are Richard and Janice. Janice is the student, Richard is the teacher. I'm going to go ahead and drag over those 2 personas right now. So essentially, I'll just summarize this because it's a lot of writing, but Janice is a nursing student, and she is nearing the end of her time at school, and she's finding it very challenging. Most of her work's done online, and some of her goals are that, let's see here, she wants to be able to easily communicate with professors during office hours or whenever the designated time is. She wants to access the information while she's on a commute, so she wants like an ease of access kind of a website. And she wants the information to be organized because she's tired of spending time looking through 6 different classes that are set up 6 different ways. So the other persona we have is Mr. Crichton here. He's an economics professor. He really likes his research, but he spends a lot of time having to make content for the classes he also has to teach in order to be a professor. Pretty sure that's how it works. He's not an overachiever or anything. He just wants to make the content available to his students and not spend a ton of time doing it because he's got other things to do. So content creation and not having to design your own layout are 2 of the biggest drivers for him. And he also would like to be able to communicate easily with students instead of having to look them up in a separate directory. He'd like to know when he has emails or when he has direct messages he needs to respond to. So those are our personas. If I can figure out how to close this. Alright, so next up we had the user and business requirements. These are pretty straightforward. I'll drag the document over, but it's really not very exciting. Essentially, we took each one of these views, student portals and course views and lecture views, etc., and we said, what do these need to do in order to meet our goals for our persona? And we listed that out, and as we were mocking up each of the views, we made sure to adhere to each one of these requirements so that hopefully our users can actually accomplish their goals. So during this whole design process, we really relied heavily on external inspiration by looking at courses like or excuse me, sites like Coursera, Pluralsight, YouTube, MIT Courseware, even Blackboard would be a good example of an education portal that we looked at, just to get a feel for how most of them were set up, because the designs are similar among all of these sites. We will be using other design processes moving forward as we get into iteration, including getting people's opinions, expert opinions, people actually who do web development for a living, interviewing some students that are not us, and possibly some professors, as well as kind of handing off these views to people that may be considered students or considering taking classes, and see what they think of how it's set up, and whether or not they'd be able to view what they want to view easily. So our final goals basically for iteration 2, we need to get more feedback about our design and possible changes. We have some, which will be addressed when we show our views. We also want to identify any additional views that might need to be added to what we have in order to enable our personas to meet their goals. And we're also open to removing views. If it creates clutter and it's not really cohesive and it doesn't accomplish a specific goal that we set out to accomplish, then it doesn't need to be there yet. That would be a nice to have feature. And that is it. And we'll see what the views look like here in just a second.
Hello and welcome from Team E. My name is Clayton Ozan, and I'm going to walk you through our course management platform. First, I'm going to walk through the teacher login and then go to the student section. After the teacher logs in, you can see we can manage courses. We list out each one of the courses and the course description, the number of students that are enrolled in that course. I can edit a course, title, description, which students are enrolled. I can click and drag them between the two lists, and then save. I can create a course, works very similar to managing them. For course materials, for each course I can add material name, description, different types of material, edit that material, add more material per course, upload slides, notes, reading material, descriptions, date picker, process that. And then I have two sections, lecture organization and lecture management. For lecture organization, I can add and edit lectures per course, and then decide what start date, how many days it's active for each course, lecture description, and of course the date and time picker. But the difference between the lecture organization and lecture management is that for lecture management, I'm actually adding material, slides, videos, papers, to each lecture per course, or whichever one I specify. For the student section, I can send personal chats to those students and personal emails. It'll show me what class they're involved in, and then I can filter by pretty much anything. So in the student login section, I'll see the courses, the course descriptions. I have access to the course forum and course chat. If I click on course forum, I can decide what course I want to look at the threads for each one. For course chat, it looks very similar. I can see the classmates, I can see what groups, and then the different threads involved. Notifications, the different notifications and announcements, forum updates for the ones that I'm enrolled in, courses. The profile, username, label, name, bio, my image, whatever image I pick. If I go into a course, each course has creators, lectures, materials. Let's go into creators. I can see like a thumbnail preview and the description and contact, whatever contact information we decide to have for that creator, whether it's email or lectures, thumbnail, lecture description. It's a list view kind of for each one of the lectures. Materials for that, downloadable materials. And in the course section, another piece I wanted to show was the actual lecture favorite bar. So I sign out and go back in student login. this particular module, the lecture image and lecture titles, is where those favorites actually get added to. So it's a scrolling carousel of favorite lectures, basically. So I'll click one of those. It brings me basically to the same area where I was viewing the lecture before. And that's it. Thank you.